Hey everyone, Greg Clements here with the Hunting Public. Today we're bringing you a bow hunting 360 video talking about bow hunting turkeys without a ground blind. Well, there's no doubt about it, bow hunting for turkeys is not only a lot of fun, but it's very challenging as well. And most archers choose to hunt turkeys out of a pop-up style or hub style blind, which is very effective and still a lot of fun. But in this video, we're going to talk about taking that challenge to the next level and bow hunting turkeys without a blind. So whether you're shotgun hunting for turkeys or bow hunting for turkeys, having a really good hide and being concealed is critically important. You're hunting an animal that relies on their eyesight for their survival. All right, so let's talk about some tips for concealment, and it starts with your clothing. You know, there's a lot of good different camouflage patterns out there. You know, just trying to match that pattern to the environment will go a long ways to help keeping you concealed, but also wearing leafy suits or ghillie suits will help even more to break up your outline. And then of course, either wearing a head net, painting your face, and most importantly, wearing gloves, you know, the things that are going to be moving the most. A really good setup oftentimes consists of front cover, back cover, taking advantage of shadows, and having some kind of obstruction that the turkey passes by that will allow you to come to full draw. Now there's some setups that are just naturally good for concealment. Brush piles, or a cluster of trees where there's 3 or 4 trunks, or maybe it's tall grass. There's a lot of good naturally occurring setups out there. And if you're lucky, you can find one of these spots where you don't have to do much to be concealed. Another tip for making a good bow hunting setup for turkeys is to make sure that you have a pair of clippers or a saw with you. But first you're going to want to check with the landowner, or if you're on public land, make sure that it's legal to cut vegetation. This will allow you to clear shooting lanes, but also to use that vegetation to be able to create front cover and back cover to provide more concealment. And another quick tip would be when you're cutting the vegetation is to cut it at a 45-degree angle. This creates a sharp point. It allows you to stick that in the ground more easily and create that cover around you. And one of the things that we really look for when we're bow hunting turkeys are cedar trees. They offer a ton of concealment, and if it's legal where you're at, if you can cut branches, you can really make a good hide just using a cedar tree. Another thing to pay attention to, at least on sunny days, is the position of the sun. You know, ideally, early and late in the day, you can set up with the sun at your back, and then during the middle part of the day, it creates a lot of shadows that you can also take advantage of to be concealed. Now, there's a lot that goes into having a good setup for bow hunting turkeys, something you have to learn through trial and error of what it takes to be able to get away with getting a gobbler within bow range and coming to full draw and getting off a good ethical shot. Let's talk about the bow setup. There's a few modifications that I like to make to my bow when I go into turkey season. The first thing is I back my poundage off maybe 5 to 10 pounds from my deer hunting bow weight. I usually go from shooting 70 pounds for deer hunting and drop it down to 60 pounds for bow hunting turkeys. A lot of times you're going to get yourself into situations where you've got to come to full draw early and wait on that gobbler to get within bow range or turn to give you the shot that you're looking for. So drawing less weight will help you stay at full draw longer without your muscles getting fatigued and will help you to execute a better shot. Another thing I like to do is to put a bow pod on my bow, a couple little legs that come off of the stabilizer that help keep the bow upright, and I can keep it right in front of me where all I have to do is make a minimal amount of movement to grab the bow and to come to full draw. If you need your hands free to call or scratch the leaves and try to bring a gobbler in, again, minimizing the amount of movement that you need to make is a big key to getting a shot off. And then finally, I also like to camouflage my bow. And one thing that I found that works real well is to buy a string of ivy leaves from Hobby Lobby, for example, and then winding that through the riser of the bow, on the stabilizer, the quiver, anywhere that's not going to affect the performance of your bow. Obviously, you're going to want to check all that first, but adding that concealment to the bow gives you one more thing that you can have in front of you that helps break up your outline and help to improve your overall setup. And lastly, I want to talk about decoys. There's a ton of different decoys out there. That could be a whole nother video on what decoy to use. But for a bow hunter, using some kind of decoy will undoubtedly increase your shot opportunities. It gives that gobbler something to focus his attention on. It will help draw them into bow range and direct them where you want them to go. So good luck to you. I hope you have fun out there bow hunting turkeys this spring.